Friends, my uncle was very strong even at the age of 45. He was 45 years old, but he still looked healthy like a young man. He loved his aunt very much and always kept her happy. But one night, when strange noises started coming from his aunt's room, I saw that his aunt was walking out of the room limping. I was very surprised to see this. I started thinking that what does uncle do that his aunt walks limping like this? One day, his aunt got very sick. He said to me, "Daughter-in-law, give milk to uncle." When aunt went to sleep, I dressed up like my aunt and went to give milk to uncle. As soon as I put the glass of milk and turned back, uncle held my hand and pulled me towards him. He called me aunt all night. My name is Kajol. I am a resident of a small village in Patna. My life was full of happiness and dreams. I am 22 years old and I am proud of my beauty and innocence. Our family was small, but very happy. Mom, Dad, elder brother Abhishek and me. My brother had been married for a year, and when my sister-in-law came, there was a flood of happiness in our house. My sister-in-law was very cute, smart and intelligent. Seeing the love of brother and sister-in-law, I often thought that I wish everyone had such a life partner. My brother Abhishek used to work in a company. Every evening when he came home, he would bring something for us. This habit of his taught me how important it is to take care of your family. I had completed my graduation studies, and now Mom and Dad were looking for proposals for my marriage. Got a good proposal. The boy's name was Rohit. He was an orphan, but his uncle and aunt raised him like their own son. When Dad gathered information about Rohit, he was very happy to know that he is honest and hardworking. When I was asked to marry Rohit, I was very excited. I saw myself in a new world with Rohit. Dad soon fixed the marriage, and in just 7 days my marriage was fixed. The wedding day was the most special day of my life. I was standing in front of the mirror in a red dress. Looking at myself, it felt like I had become a dream fairy. As soon as I saw Rohit in the wedding hall, my heart stopped. There was a depth in his eyes that was pulling me towards him. During every ceremony of the wedding, his eyes were fixed on me. I understood that my life was about to change. After the wedding, when I stepped into the in-laws' home, it felt like I had entered a new world. As soon as I reached the in-laws' home, my husband's uncle and aunt were very happy to see me. The closeness and affection on their faces touched my heart. After all the rituals were over, I was sent to my room. I was sitting on my wedding bed as a new bride. Many kinds of emotions were swirling in my mind. I had heard a lot about the wedding, but it was difficult to guess how this experience would be in reality. My heart was trembling, but somewhere in my mind, the ocean of hopes and dreams was also wavering. The night was deepening, and then my husband Rohit came into the room. There was peace and depth in his eyes. He came close to me, sat next to me, and smiled and said, "Kajol, I am very happy to have a life partner like you. You are the greatest joy of my life." Hearing him, my heart calmed down a little. But then he started sharing a painful part of his life with me. Rohit said, "When I was only 10 years old, my parents died in an accident. At that time my world was ruined. But my uncle and aunt accepted me as their son. They raised me and made me worthy that I am here today. They are no less than God for me." I was listening to them carefully. There was a depth in their voice, and the pain of that time was clearly visible on their faces. I asked slowly, "Doesn't your uncle and aunt have any children of their own?" Rohit took a deep breath and said, "For many days, my aunt had no children. She and my uncle got every possible treatment. Many years later, my aunt became pregnant. Everyone was very happy. But when it was time for the birth of the child, my aunt suddenly fell ill. My uncle immediately took my aunt to the doctor. There, the doctor said that only one of the two could be saved. My uncle had no choice. He said, 'Save my aunt at any cost.' The doctors saved my aunt's life, but also said that she could never be a mother." Rohit's voice became soft. His eyes became wet. He said, "This incident broke my uncle and aunt inside. They could not get over this shock for many days. But during that time, my parents had an accident. And their death brought us closer. Uncle and aunt gave me love like their own children. They gave me all the happiness that perhaps my parents could not give me. I can never forget their gratitude." While saying this, tears began to flow from Rohit's eyes. Their pain and their gratitude touched my heart. I held their hand and said, "Don't worry. I will also take care of your uncle and aunt in the same way as they are my own parents. Whatever they are the biggest part of our world. I will respect them and always be their support." Rohit looked at me. Gratitude and love were flowing in his eyes. At that time, I was more concerned about my emotions than his words. I held my husband's hand and said, "Do you want to spend the night in all this? Today is the first night of our marriage." As soon as he said this, he took me in his arms. And then I was also waiting for this moment. But after a while, Rohit got tired and went away from me. He could not even stand for 5 minutes. Seeing all this, I started burning inside. I had seen so many dreams and had so many desires. But all my dreams and desires were ruined. Rohit could not give me the satisfaction that a wife wants from her husband. Rohit immediately went into a deep sleep. But I kept moving on the bed like a thirsty fish. I didn't even know when it was morning. I got up in the morning and went to freshen up. When I came back, Uncle was exercising in the courtyard. I was surprised to see that Uncle was looking like a young man despite being 45 years old. Then I went to the kitchen and started making tea. In a little while, I made tea and went to give it to Uncle. Uncle said, "Daughter-in-law, where is your aunt? She is not to be seen anywhere." I said, "Yes, she is inside and doing some work." I started noticing that wherever there was an aunt, Uncle used to go there and do strange things with her. Aunt often says, "Now be ashamed. A new daughter-in-law has come to the house. If she sees all this, what will she think?" Uncle would answer, "What will she think?" Every husband does the same with his wife. Rohit must be doing all this. I used to be very ashamed to hear such things from Uncle and Aunt. I used to think, would Rohit do the same? 10 days passed like this. Then one night, when I started going to the bathroom, I heard Aunt's strange voice from Uncle's room. Hearing that voice, I could not control my emotions and started peeping near the window of his room. In the dim light, I saw something that shook me. Somehow I came back to my room and tried to provoke Rohit. But he was in such a deep sleep that he did not know anything. Somehow I fell asleep while moving. As soon as morning came, Rohit started getting ready for his work. His holidays were over and he had to return to the city. I quickly went to the kitchen and prepared breakfast for him. Rohit ate breakfast, saw me smiling and said, "Kajal, take care of the house. If Aunt needs anything, tell me immediately." His words were simple, but there was a sadness in my mind. Rohit used to come home at the end of the month and his absence made me feel empty. After he left, I went to my room. But my mind was not calm. That night incidents started spinning in my mind again and again. I started remembering Aunt's words. She often used to say, "I don't know when they will leave me. They work all day in the field, but there is no peace at night." This back pain has become a part of my life. I was surprised to hear them. I used to think, what does Uncle do that Aunt is so worried? Then one night, the same voices started coming from Aunt's room. My curiosity could not stop me. I slowly went to the window and tried to peep into her room. Whatever I saw, it shook my heart and mind. That scene was completely new to me. I immediately returned to my room and started trying to handle myself. Strange questions began to arise in my mind. But I told myself that this is Uncle and Aunt's private life and I should not interfere in it. For many days, I did not pay attention to Aunt's room. Then one day, Aunt got very sick. She was lying on the bed in pain and said, Kajol, today I will not be able to go to uncle's room. He has a habit of drinking cardamom milk at night. Will you take milk for him today? Hearing her words, my heart started beating fast. That scene of the night in front of my eyes spun again. I hesitated a little and said, "Okay, Aunt, I will take it. You rest." I prepared a glass of milk, put on a veil and prepared myself like an ant and went towards uncle's room. There was a little light in his room. I was standing at the door and many thoughts were growing in my heart. The atmosphere inside was very scary. As soon as I put the glass of milk and started coming back, Uncle grabbed my hand and pulled it up. I covered my face with a veil so that he could not see that I was there. Then he started moving with me as he used to do with Aunt. I could not control my emotions and everything started happening. When he got tired and went to sleep, I got up and went to my room. I was very happy today and was thinking why Aunt's condition is like this. I had already guessed it today. I lay on my bed and when I went to deep sleep, I did not know. When my eyes opened in the morning, I was feeling very good. I did not have a place for the happiness of the night. I went to get fresh. When I came out in a while, I saw that Aunt had a high fever. I was taking care of her by keeping a wet cloth on her forehead. At the same time, Uncle also came there. He asked in a worried voice, "Daughter-in-law, how is Aunt now?" I answered in a calm voice, "Now something is fine. The fever has reduced a little." But at that time I felt that Uncle was looking at me in a different way. This was the first time when his eyes were looking so deep and attentive. My heart started beating fast. I thought, did he know something? Did he understand that last night I was in his room instead of Aunt? As soon as this thought came, my mind was nervous. If Aunt or Rohit finds out all this, what will they think about me? In the midst of these confusions, I just kept serving Aunt. It was evening and the time of the night came. Aunt said in a tired voice, "Daughter-in-law, until my health is not completely cured, I will not go to your uncle. I am afraid that my health will deteriorate further. That's why you give milk and come. Otherwise, they will come here looking for me." Hearing her words, I started feeling a strange tremor inside me. I thought, that night can be repeated again today. Why don't I experience that happiness again? Late at night when Aunt was in deep sleep, I prepared a glass of milk. I took off my veil and slowly walked towards Uncle's room. There was light in the room. I put the glass of milk on the table and as soon as it started turning back, Uncle held my hand. His sudden behavior was enough to scare me. A wave of fear ran inside me. He looked at me with deep eyes and said, "What happened, daughter-in-law? Why are you going like this?" My heart was shaken by his question. I said in a hoarse voice, "Uncle, let me go." Uncle looked at me and said, "Daughter-in-law, why are you so scared? I know everything. I know that last night you were in Aunt's place." Hearing her words, my feet trembled. I said with courage, "If you knew everything, then why didn't you say anything to me?" Uncle said in a deep breath, "Daughter-in-law, I understood that you are not getting that happiness from Rohit, which you deserve. Even if you don't say this to me, but I can see your pain clearly." Hearing this, tears came to my eyes. He said further, "Daughter-in-law, don't worry about all this. If you stay sad like this, your health will deteriorate. And if your condition remains the same, how will you become a mother?" Hearing his words, my mind became a little lighter. But a corner of fear was still in my heart. I said to myself, if Aunt or Rohit finds out all this, what will happen to me? But that night I put all these things aside. I started sharing happiness with Uncle. When Uncle went to sleep at night, I came back to my room. This has become a routine now. Uncles like me were waiting for me and I was also ready to meet them. This new relationship made me happy from inside. Many days passed like this. But one day Rohit suddenly returned home. When I saw him, I was very happy. It was night time. Everyone ate and went to their rooms. Rohit and I were also in our room. That night I felt that Rohit had already gotten better. But still he could not completely satisfy my mind. He slept soundly and I just kept looking at him. Seeing his deep sleep, I started feeling a strange anxiety inside me. Will my thirst ever end? I asked myself. Uncle's thoughts began to circulate in my mind. But Rohit's presence stopped me. Somehow I tried to sleep by explaining to myself. It was morning and Rohit said, Kajal, I am going to the city for 3 days. Now I will come back after 3 days. Hearing this, a wave of happiness ran through my heart. Now I will not be afraid of anyone for 3 days. I thought to myself. The day somehow passed and I started waiting for the night. As soon as Auntie went to sleep, I took a glass of milk and walked towards Uncle's room. When I reached the room, I saw that Uncle was waiting for me impatiently. The excitement on his face made me more excited from the inside. As soon as he saw me, he hugged me. He was more excited than before. That night I was completely satisfied and also very happy. It was morning and I was busy with my work. Then suddenly Rohit came back home. Seeing him, I got scared and said, What is the matter, sir? How did you come back so soon? Rohit said with a smile, Kajal, now I will do my duty from home. Now I don't want to bother you anymore. Hearing these words from his mouth, I was shocked. I started thinking why Rohit is saying such things today. Rohit looked at me and said, Kajal, you know, a wife like you is very lucky. I am proud of myself that you are my wife. If a woman is not satisfied with her husband, then she starts looking for someone else. But you didn't do that. You kept my faith. This is a very big thing for me. Hearing this, my heart broke inside. I started feeling ashamed of myself. Rohit trusted me so much and I kept cheating him. Rohit said further, Kajal, I had a secret disease, which I was getting treated in the city. That's why I was afraid of getting married. But on my aunt's insistence, I married you. Now after this treatment, I am absolutely fine. Now there is no problem. That night, Rohit gave me the happiness that I had never had before. I was feeling very lucky. The next morning, when Uncle's eyes fell on me, I stole his eyes. Now I had understood how big a mistake I had made. Uncle also understood that I was burning in the fire of regret. After that day, I stopped going to Uncle's room. Now I joined Rohit to make my life happy. Uncle also felt that whatever happened was wrong. He had now stopped looking at me with wrong eyes and started behaving like a good person. When a woman or man does not get satisfaction from her husband or wife, he often goes on the wrong path. But it is important to understand that there is only a moment of happiness on this path. But regret lasts a lifetime. First try to solve the problems of your relationship. If you find a solution, then you will not have to go on the wrong path. True happiness and satisfaction are found where there is faith and love. Sometimes in life, we run after external attractions, temporary pleasures and momentary satisfaction. But in the long run, it can make us feel dissatisfied and incomplete. In this story, Kajal felt that she was only going on the wrong path for physical satisfaction. But when she faced the truth and maintained her faith, she got the ultimate true happiness that she wanted. It is important that we keep honesty in our relationships and walk with faith with our partner in any situation. Until we share what is in our heart with our partner, no relationship can be complete. This teaching tells us that if two people believe in each other and maintain their relationship in the right direction, then no problem can come between them. It is important to use our desires in the right direction. The path that Kajal took, the end emptied it from within. It is important to balance your desires and desires in any person's mind. If we use our desires in the wrong direction for temporary pleasure, then it fills us with pain and regret for a long time. Kajal's journey teaches us that we should fulfill our desires in the right direction and at the right time wisely. We should never go down the wrong path and deceive ourselves because it affects our self-esteem and relationships. We get the ability to make the right decisions from our education, experience and understanding. Sometimes we start ignoring our mistakes and get used to blaming others. Kajol also tried to hide her mistakes in the beginning, but in the end she realized her mistake and accepted it. This self-acceptance is the most important aspect of life. Understanding yourself and learning from your mistakes can make you a better person. So friends, this was today's audio. Please write your opinion in the comment box. If you liked this audio, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so that you don't miss our new videos.